Ladies and gentlemen, fear is a product of uncertainty. It thrives when we focus on what might go wrong. The secret? Shift your energy from fear to faith. Faith doesn't mean you have all the answers, but it does mean you believe in the possibility of something better. When you operate from a place of faith, fear starts to lose its grip. You can't hold fear and faith in the same space. Choose faith. Fear is a natural human response. It's designed to protect us from danger, triggering the fight or flight mechanism when we encounter something threatening. But in the modern world, many of our fears are psychological rather than physical. They come from situations where we feel vulnerable, uncertain, or out of control. To begin overcoming fear, the first thing we must do is acknowledge its presence. Think of fear like a warning signal. It's an emotional alarm that goes off, telling us something doesn't feel right. Ignoring this signal or pretending it doesn't exist doesn't help us. It actually reinforces the fear. When we ignore our fear, we give it more power because it lingers in the background, unchallenged and unexamined. So the first step is to consciously recognize the fear. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, acknowledge it. I'm afraid of speaking in front of others. This simple acknowledgement creates a sense of awareness and control. However, there's an important distinction to make. Acknowledging fear is not the same as entertaining it. When we entertain fear, we start to dwell on it. We let it spiral in our minds, feeding it with worst-case scenarios and negative thinking. For example, the thought, "I'm afraid of public speaking," can quickly turn into, "I'll embarrass myself," or "everyone will laugh at me." This is entertaining fear, letting it sit with us, overstay its welcome, and take control of our thoughts and actions. In an educational sense, acknowledging fear without entertaining it is a skill that can be learned and practiced. Here's how. Label the fear. Naming your fear is an essential first step. Whether it's fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown, simply saying to yourself, "I'm feeling fear right now because of X," helps create distance between you and the emotion. It separates you from the fear, so you can observe it rather than become it. Examine the fear after acknowledging it. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? This allows you to dissect the fear, breaking it down into its components. Often we find that our fears are based on exaggerated assumptions or irrational beliefs. By examining the fear closely, you can identify if it's truly valid or just a product of your mind overreacting to uncertainty. Recognize fear's role. Fear, at its core, is meant to keep us safe. But when fear is overactive, it can hold us back from opportunities, growth, and progress. Recognizing that fear is trying to protect you helps you understand its place. You can thank your fear for its concern, but also make it clear that it doesn't get to make the decisions. Challenge the fear. Once you acknowledge the fear, you have the power to question it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could realistically happen? And is that outcome something I couldn't handle? This process helps reduce fear's intensity by confronting the worst-case scenario and often realizing that it's not as catastrophic as it seems. By learning to acknowledge fear but not entertain it, you develop emotional resilience. This is the key to managing fear effectively. You don't have to let it take up space in your mind or control your behavior. When fear is acknowledged and examined, it loses its grip on you. It can still exist, but it doesn't dictate your choices or actions. In the classroom or personal development context, teaching people to recognize and face their fears without indulging in them equips them with critical life skills. This practice fosters self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and problem-solving abilities, qualities that are essential for navigating challenges in both personal and professional environments. Fear often arises when we focus on what could go wrong. It's rooted in doubt and uncertainty. Questions like, what if I fail, or what if things don't turn out the way I planned, dominate our thinking. This preoccupation with negative outcomes keeps us in a state of fear, limiting our ability to take risks, make decisions, or pursue goals. The solution to this is to shift from fear to faith, a mindset that focuses on what could go right and trusts in possibilities beyond what is immediately visible. Faith, in this context, isn't necessarily religious, though it can be for some. It's about cultivating a belief in the unseen, the ability to trust in yourself, the process, and the possibility of success. When we shift from fear to faith, we stop fixating on worst-case scenarios and start believing in outcomes that align with our goals and aspirations. Fear is a response to uncertainty, and it often stems from a need to control outcomes. We fear what we don't know or can't predict. Faith, on the other hand, is about accepting uncertainty while maintaining confidence that things will work out in your favor. Fear asks, What if I can't do this? While faith answers, what if I can? It's a mindset shift that changes your focus from doubt to belief. Educationally, this is crucial for students or anyone in a learning environment. Fear of failure or fear of the unknown can hinder progress. When learners develop faith in their ability to grow, adapt, and succeed, they're more likely to persevere through challenges. Faith is built on trust in one's potential, resilience, and the possibility that effort leads to success, even if the path is unclear. One way to make the shift from fear to faith is to cultivate positive expectations. This means training your mind to anticipate good outcomes rather than bad ones. For example, instead of worrying, "What if I fail this exam?" replace that thought with "I've prepared, and I believe I can succeed." This doesn't mean you ignore potential challenges. Rather, you choose to focus on the possibility of success. In an educational setting, teaching this mindset can significantly impact students' confidence and performance. When learners expect positive outcomes, they engage more fully in their tasks, take risks, and bounce back more quickly from setbacks. Positive expectations help override the natural tendency to focus on fear. Faith is strengthened by experience. One way to shift from fear to faith is to reflect on past successes, even small ones. When you remind yourself of times when you overcame challenges, met goals, or succeeded despite doubts, you build evidence that you are capable. This strengthens your belief in your ability to face future challenges. For learners or individuals developing new skills, keeping a record of accomplishments helps reinforce this mindset. When you have a collection of evidence showing your ability to grow and succeed, fear loses its power. You're not just hoping things will work out, you have proof that you've done it before and you can do it again. Visualization is a powerful tool for shifting from fear to faith. When you visualize positive outcomes, your brain starts to create a mental image of success. This process trains your mind to expect and believe in favorable results. By regularly practicing visualization, you begin to align your thoughts with faith rather than fear. For example, athletes often visualize themselves winning a game or achieving a personal best before the actual event. This technique can be applied in any area of life, from public speaking to business decisions. Visualizing success reduces anxiety and boosts confidence, making it easier to face challenges without fear. One of the reasons fear takes over is because we become too focused on the end result, worrying whether we'll succeed or fail. Faith, however, shifts the focus from the outcome to the process. When you trust the process, you're not consumed by the need for immediate success. You understand that growth and progress take time, and that setbacks are part of the journey. In education, trusting the process is essential for long-term learning. Students who focus only on grades or outcomes often experience more fear and anxiety. But when they learn to trust the process of studying, practicing, and gradually improving, they become more resilient and less fearful of failure. Trusting the process allows them to appreciate incremental progress rather than fearing the final result. Your environment plays a significant role in your ability to shift from fear to faith. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and encourage you to pursue your goals can make all the difference. When you're around individuals who operate from a place of faith, their energy can help uplift and inspire you to do the same. For students or learners, being part of a positive and supportive community fosters an atmosphere of faith and belief in success. Teachers, mentors, or peers who model confidence and faith in their abilities can significantly influence those who may be struggling with fear. Finally, the most important part of shifting from fear to faith is action. Fear often paralyzes us, keeping us stuck in indecision or avoidance. But faith encourages action, even when the outcome is uncertain. The key is to move forward, even if you're still afraid. Action creates momentum, and with each step, fear weakens while faith grows stronger. For learners or individuals facing challenges, taking small, consistent actions builds confidence. Whether it's speaking up in class, attempting a new skill, or taking on a difficult project, each action reinforces faith in one's abilities. The more you act in spite of fear, the more you strengthen your faith in yourself and your potential. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear is through knowledge. Fear often thrives in ignorance and uncertainty. And when we don't fully understand something, we tend to imagine the worst possible scenarios. By educating yourself about what you fear, you bring clarity to the situation, reducing uncertainty and empowering yourself with the tools to confront the fear head on. Fear is often exaggerated because the mind fills in the gaps with negative assumptions. For example, if someone fears public speaking, they may imagine scenarios where they completely forget their speech, make mistakes, or get harshly judged by the audience. These exaggerated fears persist because of a lack of familiarity with the actual experience or process of public speaking. When you educate yourself about what you fear, it provides a sense of control and makes the fear more manageable. Education begins with breaking down the fear into its specific components. Fear is rarely a vague emotion. It usually has particular elements that trigger it. By identifying these elements, you can target what exactly you need to learn or understand better. For example, if you have a fear of starting a new business, it might not be the business itself that you fear, but rather the financial risks, potential failure, or lack of expertise in certain areas. In an educational setting, this approach teaches critical thinking and problem-solving skills. When students are faced with challenges, instead of feeling overwhelmed, they can break the challenge into smaller, more manageable parts. Each part can then be addressed through research, study, or practice, making the overall challenge feel less daunting. Once you've broken down the fear, the next step is to research and gain knowledge about the specific elements that contribute to your fear. This could involve reading books, taking courses, or seeking out credible information online. The more knowledge you acquire, the less room there is for fear to dominate your thoughts. For example, someone afraid of flying might research the mechanics of how airplanes work, learn about the safety protocols in place, and understand the statistical rarity of accidents. This knowledge helps dispel irrational fears and replace them with facts. In educational contexts, teaching students to research effectively is a key skill. Research allows individuals to find accurate information and expand their understanding of complex topics. By teaching students how to gather knowledge and apply it, educators equip them with the tools to face challenges, not only in academic settings, but also in real-life situations where fear may arise. Another effective way to educate yourself about what you fear is to learn from people who have already overcome similar fears or challenges. Experts and role models who have faced and conquered their fears can provide valuable insights, strategies, and lessons. Watching interviews, reading autobiographies, or attending workshops with people who have been in similar situations can help you see how others have managed to succeed despite their fears. For instance, someone afraid of public speaking might watch TED Talks by accomplished speakers who also once feared speaking in public. Learning about their journey from fear to confidence can be incredibly inspiring. Educationally, this teaches the importance of mentorship and learning from others' experiences. It shows that fear is a common human experience, but with the right knowledge and strategies, it can be overcome. Education is not just theoretical, it's also practical. One of the best ways to reduce fear is through direct experience. When you immerse yourself in the activity that causes fear, even in small, controlled ways, you begin to desensitize yourself to the fear and build confidence. This is known as exposure therapy in psychological terms, where you gradually expose yourself to the feared situation in a safe and manageable way until the fear diminishes. For example, if someone fears swimming, they can begin by learning about the basics of swimming, such as floating and breathing techniques, then gradually practice in shallow water with the help of an instructor. Over time, as they gain more experience, the fear subsides and their confidence grows. In an educational environment, hands-on learning is essential. When students engage in experiential learning, whether through labs, simulations, or real-world applications, they become more comfortable with concepts that may initially seem intimidating. This approach not only reduces fear, but also reinforces learning by allowing students to apply their knowledge in practical ways. Educating yourself about coping strategies specific to your fear is another powerful tool. Every type of fear has techniques that can help manage the associated anxiety or stress. For example, people who fear public speaking can learn breathing exercises, visualization techniques, and relaxation strategies to calm their nerves before stepping onto the stage. Similarly, individuals with social anxiety can practice mindfulness and cognitive behavioral strategies to reduce feelings of overwhelm in social situations. In educational settings, teaching coping strategies equips learners with the tools they need to face challenges and fears head-on. When students know how to manage stress and anxiety, they're better prepared to tackle difficult subjects, exams, or presentations. Coping strategies create resilience, enabling students to persevere even when they feel uncertain or fearful. An effective educational technique to confront fear is to keep a journal documenting your fears, progress, and reflections. Writing down what you fear and tracking your journey toward overcoming it allows you to reflect on your experiences, measure your progress, and identify patterns. For example, someone with a fear of failure might write about the situations where they felt anxious, what thoughts triggered the fear, and how they responded. Over time, this journal becomes a valuable tool for learning about your fears and seeing how far you've come in managing them. In education, reflection is a key part of the learning process. Journals or reflection papers encourage students to think critically about their experiences, connect theory to practice, and understand their personal growth. This method of learning not only helps with overcoming fear, but also deepens self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Finally, education is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. Fear often reappears when we stop learning or growing. To stay ahead of fear, it's important to commit to continuous learning. This means staying curious, keeping your mind open to new information, and constantly seeking to improve your skills and understanding. For instance, someone who has a fear of failure in their career might commit to learning new skills, attending workshops, and staying updated with industry trends. This continuous learning reduces fear because it replaces uncertainty with confidence and preparedness. In educational settings, fostering a mindset of lifelong learning is crucial. When students understand that learning is a continuous process that doesn't end with graduation, they're better equipped to face the challenges of the real world. Lifelong learners approach new situations with curiosity rather than fear, knowing that they have the ability to acquire the knowledge they need to succeed. By educating yourself about what you fear, you replace ignorance with understanding and uncertainty with clarity. Knowledge empowers you to confront fear with confidence, transforming it from an obstacle into a stepping stone for growth and success. Fear is often viewed as something to avoid, a sign of weakness or failure. However, when we reframe fear as a learning opportunity, we shift our perspective and open ourselves up to growth and development. Fear can be a powerful teacher, providing valuable insights into our insecurities, limitations, and areas where we need to improve. By seeing fear as a chance to learn rather than something to shy away from, we can transform it into a stepping stone toward success. The growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication, hard work, and learning from experience. People with a growth mindset view challenges, including fears, as opportunities to learn and grow. When we approach fear with a growth mindset, we begin to see it as part of the learning process, a necessary step toward mastery. In education, fostering a growth mindset in students helps them reframe challenges, including the fear of failure, as learning experiences. Instead of avoiding difficult tasks out of fear, students with a growth mindset see them as opportunities to improve their skills. For example, a student who struggles with math may initially fear difficult problems, but with a growth mindset, they understand that persistence and practice can lead to improvement. Every fear you experience offers a lesson. When you take time to analyze what your fear is really about, you can uncover areas where you need more development, practice, or understanding. For instance, if you have a fear of failure, it may be signaling that you need to work on resilience and your ability to handle setbacks. If you fear public speaking, it could be an indication that you need more experience and confidence in communicating your ideas clearly. Educators can help students identify and analyze their fears to turn them into learning opportunities. A student who is afraid of making mistakes on an exam may learn the value of preparation, time management, or stress reduction techniques. Fear becomes a signal for areas that need attention, rather than something to avoid. Fear often highlights the areas where we feel least confident or prepared. These weak spots aren't permanent deficiencies, they're simply areas where we need to invest more time and effort. When fear surfaces, it's an opportunity to address and strengthen these weaknesses. For example, if someone is afraid of networking, That fear reveals a potential lack of social or communication skills. Instead of letting the fear paralyze them, they can view it as a chance to develop those skills through practice, learning, and self-awareness. In education, this principle is critical. When students face fears in academic or social situations, it can reveal gaps in their knowledge or abilities. By reframing fear as an opportunity to strengthen weak areas, students can focus on improving those skills, whether it's through additional practice, tutoring, or seeking feedback from teachers and peers. Fear becomes a tool for self-improvement rather than a barrier. Growth and learning happen outside of your comfort zone. Fear often arises when we're on the edge of doing something new or challenging. Instead of seeing this fear as a reason to retreat, view it as a signal that you're about to push beyond your current limitations. The discomfort of fear is a sign that you're stepping into uncharted territory, where real growth occurs. For students or learners, being encouraged to step out of their comfort zones is essential for personal and academic development. A student may fear participating in class discussions, but by pushing past that fear and engaging in dialogue, they develop their communication skills, confidence, and ability to think critically. The process of learning itself involves constant movement beyond what is comfortable or familiar. One of the biggest fears people face is the fear of failure. However, when you reframe failure as feedback, it changes the way you approach challenges. Instead of fearing mistakes or setbacks, you see them as opportunities to learn what didn't work and how to improve. Failure becomes a crucial part of the learning process, not an endpoint. When we stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a necessary step toward success, fear loses its hold over us. Educationally, this concept is fundamental. Students often fear getting wrong answers, low grades, or making mistakes, but these failures are key to learning. Teachers can help students understand that failure provides valuable information that helps them improve. By reviewing what went wrong, students can adjust their strategies, deepen their understanding, and approach the problem with more knowledge the next time. Fear often sparks curiosity because it forces us to ask important questions. When we're afraid, we wonder, why am I feeling this way? What can I do to overcome this? How do I succeed despite this fear? These questions drive us to seek new information, explore alternative approaches, and innovate solutions. Fear, when reframed as an opportunity for learning, pushes us to find creative ways to overcome challenges. In educational settings, curiosity is a vital part of the learning process. When students are encouraged to ask questions and seek solutions to their fears or challenges, they develop critical thinking skills. A student who fears failing an exam might ask, what study techniques can I use to prepare better? What resources are available to help me understand the material more deeply? Fear becomes a catalyst for discovery and innovation rather than an obstacle. As you begin to learn from your fears and take action, it's important to celebrate the small victories along the way. Overcoming fear doesn't always mean eliminating it entirely. It often means taking small, consistent steps toward facing it. Each time you confront your fear, even in small ways, you learn something new about yourself and your capabilities. These small wins build momentum and confidence, reinforcing the idea that fear is something you can handle. In education, recognizing and celebrating small achievements helps build student self-esteem and motivation. For example, a student who fears public speaking may start by giving a short presentation in front of a small group. Even if they're nervous, completing that task is a victory. Teachers can encourage students to reflect on these small wins, helping them see that progress is made incrementally and that overcoming fear is a gradual process. One of the most effective ways to combat fear is by taking action. Fear often paralyzes us, keeping us stuck in inaction. However, the very act of moving forward, even in small steps, diminishes the power that fear holds over us. Action transforms fear from a debilitating force into a motivating one, because the more you do, the more you realize fear can be managed, not avoided. When fear seems overwhelming, it's often because we view the challenge as one large, daunting task. By breaking it down into smaller, manageable steps, we reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. Each small action taken helps to build momentum and confidence. The more you act, the more you chip away at the fear, making it less intimidating over time. For instance, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by practicing in front of a mirror, then move to a small group of friends before gradually working up to a larger audience. In an educational setting, teachers can help students break larger projects or assignments into smaller, achievable parts. For example, a student who fears failing a major exam can break down their preparation into daily study sessions, focusing on one topic at a time. This method of breaking tasks down makes the overall challenge feel more attainable and teaches students to overcome fear step by step. Fear tends to diminish the more you expose yourself to the thing you're afraid of. Taking repeated actions in the face of fear allows your brain to adjust and realize that the perceived danger isn't as great as it seemed. This process, known as desensitization, is used in many areas, including education and therapy, to help people overcome fears. The more you engage with what you fear, the more familiar it becomes and the less anxiety it provokes. In education, students who fear participating in class discussions or speaking up may find that with practice, the fear lessens. Teachers can encourage students to participate in low-stakes settings initially, gradually building their confidence until they feel more comfortable. With repetition, fear transforms into familiarity, and what once seemed impossible becomes routine. When you take action despite fear, it reinforces your belief in your own ability to handle challenges. This builds self-efficacy, the belief that you can succeed in specific situations or accomplish tasks. Each time you confront your fear and take action, you prove to yourself that you are capable, which strengthens your confidence and resilience. Even if the action doesn't lead to immediate success, the effort itself is a form of progress, and it reinforces the idea that fear doesn't control you. In an educational context, students who take action to confront academic challenges often experience an increase in confidence. For example, a student who fears failing a difficult course may decide to study extra hours, seek tutoring, or engage in study groups. Even if they don't achieve perfect grades immediately, their proactive efforts will enhance their confidence in their ability to improve over time. Teachers can foster this by recognizing students' efforts, not just their outcomes, reinforcing the importance of taking action. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. By taking action in the face of fear, you demonstrate courage, which not only helps you overcome the immediate challenge, but also builds a mindset of resilience and strength. Courage is something that grows through practice. Each time you act courageously, you reinforce the idea that fear is something you can handle. Educationally, students can learn that courage is a skill they can develop. For example, a student who is afraid of failure can learn that it's not about never feeling fear, but about pushing through the discomfort to achieve their goals. Teachers can encourage students to take risks in their learning, reminding them that growth comes from stepping outside their comfort zones and embracing challenges. Fear doesn't usually vanish after a single act of courage. It requires consistent action over time to reduce its grip. Each time you take a step toward your fear, you weaken its hold over you, but it's a process that requires persistence. The more consistently you act, the more fear transforms from an obstacle into a manageable challenge. Consistency is key to overcoming deep-rooted fears. In education, students who consistently face their academic or social fears can slowly build the skills necessary to overcome them. For example, a student who is afraid of math may not conquer that fear after one successful test, but with consistent practice, effort, and action, their fear will diminish over time. Teachers can support this by setting up regular opportunities for students to practice skills they fear, ensuring that consistency leads to progress. Many fears are rooted in uncertainty and the unknown. When you take action, you begin to clarify what was previously unclear. By acting, you gather more information about the situation, which can reduce the anxiety caused by uncertainty. Action provides insight, feedback, and a clearer understanding of what you're dealing with, often revealing that the reality is far less frightening than what you had imagined. In educational environments, students who fear certain subjects or tasks often do so because of a lack of clarity. By engaging with the material, asking questions, and seeking help, students can begin to make sense of what initially seemed overwhelming. Teachers can guide students through this process by helping them break down complex concepts into understandable parts, showing that fear often stems from not fully understanding the task at hand. Ultimately, fear's power comes from inaction. When we remain still, fear looms larger. But when we take action, fear begins to lose its control over us. The more we move, the smaller fear becomes. Action builds momentum, and that momentum can carry you beyond the fear itself. Each step forward brings you closer to mastering the fear, proving that you can not only face it but thrive in spite of it. For students, this principle is key. A student who fears failure may be paralyzed at the thought of trying, but by simply starting, whether it's by studying a little each day or attempting an assignment, they begin to break fear's grip. Teachers can reinforce this lesson by emphasizing progress over perfection, showing students that action itself is a victory, regardless of the outcome. When fear dominates your thoughts, it limits your perspective. Fear tends to narrow your focus to worst-case scenarios and negative outcomes. However, by consciously shifting your attention from fear to the possibilities that lie ahead, you can change the way you approach challenges. Focusing on possibility opens up your mind to opportunities, solutions, and positive outcomes that fear often obscures. Fear often triggers a survival mindset in which the brain is wired to focus on threats and potential dangers. This natural response helps us stay safe in life-threatening situations, but in everyday challenges, this survival mode can be counterproductive. Instead of seeing opportunities or creative solutions, the brain becomes fixated on avoiding harm, which limits our ability to think expansively. In education, this survival mindset is seen when students fear failure or criticism. They may focus on avoiding mistakes rather than embracing the learning process. Teachers can help students recognize this mindset and guide them towards shifting their focus to the possibilities of learning, growth, and achievement. By doing so, students can see challenges as opportunities to gain new skills rather than threats to their success. Fear often manifests as a series of what-if scenarios. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if things go wrong? These questions focus on negative outcomes and reinforce the power of fear. To overcome this, it's essential to reframe these what-if questions to focus on positive possibilities. Instead of what if I fail? Ask yourself, what if I succeed? Or what if this opens up new opportunities? Educators can teach students how to reframe their fearful thoughts into more empowering ones. For example, instead of worrying, what if I don't understand this lesson? Students can be encouraged to ask, what if this lesson helps me master the material? By shifting the focus, students learn to see the potential for positive outcomes and reduce the power that fear holds over their thoughts. Visualization is a powerful tool for shifting focus from fear to possibility. By visualizing positive outcomes and imagining yourself successfully overcoming challenges, you can train your brain to focus on success rather than failure. Visualization engages the mind in creating a mental image of what's possible, which can help override the fear-based images that often arise when you're anxious or uncertain. In an educational context, students can benefit from using visualization techniques before tests, presentations, or any challenge that triggers fear. For example, before an important exam, a student can visualize themselves answering questions confidently and completing the test with a sense of accomplishment. This mental rehearsal shifts their focus away from fear and toward a belief in their ability to succeed. Fear often leads people to focus on potential problems or obstacles. When you shift your focus to the opportunities within a situation, you begin to see possibilities that fear tends to obscure. This shift in mindset helps you move forward with a sense of optimism and curiosity, rather than being paralyzed by worry. In education, students can learn to approach challenges with an opportunity mindset. For instance, a difficult project or assignment might initially trigger fear or anxiety. However, by looking for opportunities such as a chance to learn something new, improve a skill, or collaborate with other students can reframe the task as a positive experience. Teachers can encourage this by helping students identify the opportunities for growth in every challenge they face. Fear magnifies problems, making them seem larger and more complex than they actually are. To shift your focus from fear to possibility, concentrate on finding solutions rather than dwelling on the difficulties. When you focus on solutions, you engage your mind in creative problem solving, which reduces fear by empowering you to take action. In education, students who fear academic failure or struggle with difficult subjects can learn to adopt a solution-focused mindset. Instead of getting stuck on the problem, I don't understand this concept, they can focus on possible solutions. I can ask for help, study with a group, or watch tutorial videos. Teachers can guide students in developing problem-solving strategies, helping them focus on what they can do rather than what they fear. The fixed mindset which views abilities and intelligence as static, often feeds into fear because it suggests that failure is permanent and defines who you are. Shifting to a growth mindset, on the other hand, encourages the belief that skills and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. This shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset allows you to view challenges, mistakes, and even fear as opportunities for growth and improvement rather than as threats. For students, cultivating a growth mindset is crucial to overcoming academic fears. When students believe that they can improve through practice and persistence, they are more likely to embrace challenges and learn from setbacks. Teachers can foster this mindset by praising effort and resilience rather than simply focusing on results, reinforcing the idea that every challenge presents a chance to grow and develop. Gratitude and positive thinking are powerful antidotes to fear. When you focus on what you are grateful for, it shifts your attention away from fear and scarcity and toward abundance and possibility. Practicing gratitude allows you to see the good in your life and the opportunities around you, which can help alleviate the stress and anxiety associated with fear.
In education, teaching students to practice gratitude and maintain a positive outlook can help them overcome fears of failure or inadequacy. By focusing on their strengths, achievements, and the support they have around them, students can develop a more positive and resilient mindset. Teachers can integrate gratitude practices into the classroom, such as having students reflect on what they are thankful for, which helps shift the focus from fear to the potential for growth and success. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on how you manage and overcome fear. When you're in the presence of supportive, encouraging individuals, they can help lift you out of fear and provide the strength and motivation needed to move forward. Positive social environments foster resilience, confidence, and growth, while negative or unsupportive environments can reinforce and amplify fear. Having a strong support system allows you to face fear with greater confidence. Supportive people offer reassurance, guidance, and emotional encouragement, reminding you of your strengths when fear clouds your judgment. When you know there are others who believe in you, it becomes easier to believe in yourself. They provide a safety net that can catch you if you stumble, making the process of facing fear less daunting. In an educational setting, peer support is essential. Students who have a network of friends, mentors, or teachers who provide encouragement tend to perform better academically and are more likely to take risks in their learning. Teachers can foster this environment by encouraging group work, peer tutoring, and classroom discussions where students support one another. The presence of a supportive learning community can boost students' confidence and reduce their academic fears. Surrounding yourself with people who have faced and overcome their own fears serves as a source of inspiration. Positive role models show you that it's possible to confront fear and succeed. They can provide valuable insights, lessons, and advice from their own experiences, giving you a roadmap for how to tackle fear in your own life. In education, students benefit greatly from having role models, whether they are older students, teachers, or individuals in their community who have achieved success despite facing fears or obstacles. When students see that others have overcome similar challenges, they are more likely to believe that they too can overcome their own fears. Teachers can introduce students to role models through storytelling, guest speakers, or mentorship programs, helping to instill a sense of possibility and courage in the face of fear. When you're dealing with fear, it often feels isolating, as though you're the only one experiencing those feelings. But by connecting with others who have faced or are facing similar fears, the experience becomes less isolating. Shared experiences create a sense of belonging and help normalize fear, showing you that it's a common and manageable human emotion. Being able to talk about your fears with supportive individuals helps to alleviate the emotional burden and can lead to practical solutions. In an educational context, students who fear failure, rejection, or academic challenges often benefit from sharing their experiences with peers who feel the same way. Class discussions, peer groups, and support networks provide opportunities for students to express their fears and hear from others, making fear a shared experience rather than a solitary struggle. Teachers can create safe spaces for students to discuss their fears openly, helping them realize that they are not alone in their feelings. Fear often paralyzes people, making them hesitant to take action. Supportive people provide the encouragement needed to push through that paralysis and take the first step. Sometimes, all it takes is a kind word or a reminder that you are capable to break through the barrier of fear. Encouragement serves as fuel, helping you overcome the inertia that fear creates. For students, encouragement from teachers, parents, and peers is crucial in overcoming academic fears. A student who fears speaking up in class, for example, may find the courage to participate after receiving positive reinforcement and encouragement from their teacher or classmates. Teachers can foster a culture of encouragement by recognizing students' efforts and achievements, no matter how small, and by promoting an atmosphere where students cheer each other on. This helps create a positive feedback loop, where encouragement leads to action, and action diminishes fear. When you surround yourself with people who support your growth, they also hold you accountable for facing your fears and taking action. These individuals challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and remind you of your goals when fear tries to hold you back. Accountability partners provide a balance between support and challenge, pushing you to do what you might avoid on your own. In education, teachers and mentors serve as natural accountability partners for students. A teacher who understands a student's fear of failure might set achievable goals and check in regularly to ensure progress. Peer study groups or project teams can also hold students accountable for completing tasks they fear, such as presentations or difficult assignments. By creating structures for accountability, educators help students take consistent action toward overcoming their fears. Fear is harder to tackle alone. Collaborative environments where people work together toward shared goals make fear easier to manage because you're not facing it alone. When you collaborate with others, you benefit from the collective strength, ideas, and problem-solving abilities of the group. A team approach reduces the burden that fear places on an individual, and shared success reinforces the belief that fear can be conquered. In educational settings, collaborative learning helps students manage their academic fears. Group projects, study teams, and peer support systems allow students to share responsibilities and lean on each other's strengths. For instance, a student who fears public speaking may feel more comfortable when presenting as part of a group rather than alone. Teachers can encourage collaboration by assigning group tasks that emphasize teamwork and mutual support, helping students realize that fear is easier to face when tackled together. When you're consumed by fear, your perspective becomes limited. You may exaggerate the risks, overlook solutions, or misinterpret situations. Supportive people help broaden your perspective by offering different viewpoints and helping you see the situation more clearly. They can point out when your fears are irrational or disproportionate, and they can help you focus on the possibilities rather than the limitations. In the classroom, teachers and peers can offer valuable perspective to students who are dealing with academic fears. A student who fears failing a test may benefit from a teacher's reassurance that one test does not define their overall success. A peer may offer strategies that worked for them in overcoming similar fears. Teachers can also provide perspective by helping students reframe challenges as learning opportunities, showing that setbacks are part of the growth process. This outside perspective helps students shift their focus from fear to possibility and keeps them grounded in reality. In conclusion, the secret to killing fear lies in consciously shifting our mindset, taking proactive steps, and building a supportive environment. By acknowledging that fear is natural but not insurmountable, we can begin to replace it with positive habits and thoughts. Embracing the unknown, reframing fear as a teacher, and surrounding ourselves with those who uplift and encourage us are key strategies for breaking free from fear's grip. Ultimately, fear can be transformed into a tool for growth, allowing us to move forward with courage, confidence, and the belief that endless possibilities await.